billionaire thought he could buy silence with cruelty. In a crowded restaurant, he didn't just insult a young black waitress, he hurled food at her like she was nothing. Gasps echoed, cameras rose, and every eye locked on the humiliation. But what came next wasn't silence. With unshakable fire, she cut through the air with words so brutal, so undeniable, they shattered his arrogance on the spot. And when the world saw it, his billions couldn't save him. It was supposed to be just another Thursday night. The chandeliers glowed above polished tables. Silverware lined up like soldiers. And a quiet hum filled the restaurant in downtown Dallas. But when Nathan Harwood walked in, that hum died instantly. Nathan wasn't just wealthy. He carried his billions like a weapon. His reputation preceded him. Stories of waitstaff reduced to tears, of restaurants left unpaid over the smallest inconvenience, were whispered like warnings. And now, he had arrived here. Maya Carter, the waitress on duty, felt the shift in the air. At 28, she had worked enough doubles to know when a night would turn ugly. She needed this job. Her younger brother's tuition depended on it. Still, she steadied her breath, smoothed her nerves, and approached with the professionalism that had carried her through countless difficult nights. "Good evening, Mr. Harwood," she said, voice firm yet polite. "Can I start you with something to drink?" He didn't look up. His phone screen glowed as he snapped, "I asked for sparkling water before I sat down." "Where is it?" Maya kept her tone even. "I'll bring it right away." Within seconds she returned, placing the glass in front of him. But he frowned, muttering loud enough for surrounding tables to hear. "Flat, do you even know the difference?" Heads turned. A ripple of discomfort spread. Maya opened another bottle, pouring carefully. Harwood finally took a sip, offering no thanks, only impatience. The night worsened with the appetizers. The kitchen was a few minutes behind. When Maya set the seared scallops before him, he leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Cold," he barked. "They came straight from the kitchen, sir," Maya replied, calm but unyielding. That was the moment. Harwood grabbed the porcelain plate and hurled it across the floor. The scallops slid in a greasy trail, sauce splattering onto Maya's shoes. The crash rang through the dining room. Gasps erupted. A woman covered her mouth. Phones lifted discreetly, recording. Maya froze, not in fear but in calculation. Every server knows the choice. Swallow it to survive, or fight for dignity. She bent down, picked up the plate, and set it back on the table with steady hands. Her eyes met his, sharp, unwavering. "You can buy this entire restaurant, Mr. Harwood," she said, her voice carrying through the stunned silence. "But you can't buy respect. Not mine." The room went still. Forks hovered midair. Conversations died. For the first time, Nathan Harwood looked rattled. His mouth opened, but no words came. Around him, strangers stared. Not at her in pity, but at him in contempt. The humiliation he had inflicted had ricocheted back, and she wasn't finished. "You think throwing food makes you powerful?" Maya asked, her tone razor sharp. "It only shows what kind of man you are when no one dares to tell you no." The silence cracked. Diners exchanged glances. Someone whispered, "Did she really say that?" Another shook his head, muttering, "Finally." Harwood leaned forward, his voice low, dripping with arrogance. "Do you have any idea who you're talking to?" "Yes," Maya replied without hesitation. "I'm talking to a man who thinks money erases decency. But tonight you learned it doesn't." Gasps rippled. Even the busboy clutched his tray tighter, unable to look away. The bartender stood frozen. The maitre d', usually quick to smooth tension, remained rooted in place. The entire room had chosen its side, and it wasn't his. Harwood smirked, but his composure cracked. "You'll regret this." "Maybe," Maya shot back, steady as stone. "But at least I'll look in the mirror tomorrow without shame." The words landed like a slap. The billionaire who once dominated every room now looked smaller, cornered, stripped of the armor his money once provided. Cameras clicked. Red recording dots glowed across the restaurant. Maya knew they were capturing every second. But this wasn't for them. This was for herself, for every night she had bitten her tongue and endured. Harwood tried one last attempt at intimidation. "Do you know what I could do to you? To this entire place?" "You could close it down," Maya said, tilting her head slightly. "You could fire me. You could throw another plate. But nothing you do will erase what everyone just saw. You exposed yourself. Not me. A murmur of approval spread. A woman clapped once. A man added softly, "That's right." The tide had turned. Harwood's jaw tightened. His hand gripped the edge of the table as though holding on to control that had already slipped. He demanded the bill, signed it without tipping, and stormed out. The silence he left behind was heavy with judgment. In the kitchen, Maya leaned against the counter, her hands trembling now that the adrenaline had faded. A line cook slid her a glass of water. "You did what all of us wish we could do," he whispered. Moments later, her manager pulled her aside. "You can't speak to a customer like that," she scolded, panic in her tone. "He threw food at me," Maya replied, voice steady. "That's not bad service. That's assault." Before the manager could respond, another server burst in. "It's online already. People are posting it." Maya's stomach turned. She hadn't even thought about the phones. She had spoken for herself. But now the world would speak too. By morning, her face was everywhere. A shaky 30-second clip showed the crash of the plate, the gasps, and her unwavering words. The caption, "Waitress shuts down Billionaire." Within hours, it had millions of views. Hashtags trended. News anchors replayed her words. Strangers called her a hero. Memes spread. And Nathan Harwood's empire crumbled in real time. Inside his office tower, Harwood fumed as his PR team panicked. "This will pass," he growled. "No," one advisor replied. "This isn't going away. You're the villain now." Partnerships dissolved. Investors demanded answers. Headlines branded him arrogant and abusive. For the first time, Harwood's billions offered no shield. Meanwhile, Maya sat in her modest apartment, scrolling through messages from friends, family, and strangers. Some warned her of backlash. Most praised her bravery. Her younger brother texted, "Sis, you spoke for all of us. Don't back down." She hadn't sought fame, but it had found her. And as journalists dug into Harwood's past, lawsuits, mistreated staff, ruthless tactics, the narrative grew sharper. He wasn't untouchable anymore. Maya's story became more than a viral clip. It became a symbol. In interviews, she spoke plainly. "I didn't want to fight. I just wanted respect. That's all any of us want." Her honesty struck deeper than any PR spin. Workers across the country shared her words. Managers replayed them in training sessions. Even churches quoted her line, "Respect doesn't cost a dime." Harwood, once feared, now walked into silence and stares wherever he appeared. Deals slipped away. His legacy collapsed, not in a courtroom, but in a dining room where one waitress finally said no. And Maya? She didn't gloat. She returned to work, standing taller, serving with the same dignity she had always carried. Only now, diners looked at her differently, with admiration, with respect. One evening, her brother visited and said, "Do you know what people are saying? That you gave everyone permission to stand up, that you showed them we don't have to take it anymore." Maya smiled faintly, weary but resolute. "I didn't mean to start anything," she admitted. "Sometimes the most important things happen when you don't plan them," he replied. "You just did what was right. That's why it matters." As the weeks passed, the noise faded, but her words remained. Words born of exhaustion, resilience, and truth. "You can't buy respect. Not mine." And that line, spoken in defiance, outlived the billionaire's fortune. If you believe respect can't be bought, prove it. Like this video, share it everywhere, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what moment hit you deepest. Subscribe today so you never miss stories that expose arrogance and celebrate unstoppable dignity.